Whoa, whoa. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rich in the Philippines on the Info Channel. I know Steve talked about a little bit about the earthquake we had this morning. I'm going to talk about it in a little more depth, and I want to hear your thoughts on earthquakes, tornadoes, typhoons, floods. When I grew up in Silicon Valley, at the beginning of Silicon Valley. So earthquakes were, they were kind of common, and then came the earthquake of 1989. The Loma Prieta earthquake is what it was called, during the World Series of the Oakland A's and the Giants. At first, I was on the road in my new Mustang convertible 5.0, thinking that the front end of my Ford was falling off because, by golly, that's what happens. Joke long, as they say in the Philippines. Then my top was down. I happened to look up at the sky during this earthquake. I even forget how big it was. It was huge. And I saw the street lamps going back and forth. And I thought, as Fred Sanford would say, okay, this is the big one, Elizabeth. And it actually was a big one. A freeway collapsed. Many people lost their lives. Many homes, fires, destruction. This is in 1989, and it was a horrible earthquake. And I remember it vividly. And so, with that being said, when I decided to move to the Midwest, I'm like, okay, I'm done with earthquakes. I'm done with crazy stuff that happens. Now it's going to be calm and cool and collected. The only thing I'll have to deal with is cold. Well, lo and behold, I think the first or second year I was there, I was involved in some crazy tornadoes. These tornadoes literally took down blocks and blocks and blocks. The sky was a turquoise green. I've never seen anything like it, and since I haven't seen anything like it, the sky was a different. And it sounded like a freight train. It was really, really scary, and luckily, was able to dodge a bullet in that. I was living with someone. We grabbed her dogs and went down to the basement, and we were fine. So I figured that, okay, so I've seen earthquakes, I've seen tornadoes, not really so much floods. However, that was next. Little did I know. Then I decided, okay, I'm tired of all this weird weather stuff, and so I'm going to the Philippines. Haha, yeah, how'd that work out for me? So literally went to the Philippines, and I'm going on 8-9 months here now, and I think that I've been in 2 typhoons. I just like saying typhoon. Been in 2 typhoons, and then this morning at about 10 o'clock, 10:20 or something like that, the entire loft, the entire building started to shake. I think it was 6.2 or 6.3 earthquake. The epicenter was very close to here in Cavite in Batangas. And I'm thinking, what, does this stuff follow me? But in actuality, like I said, I've been here 8-9 months, 2 typhoons, and probably a couple of smaller earthquakes, and then this bigger earthquake. So the story goes is that it seems like it follows me wherever I go. However, the more I thought about it, and again, I'd love to hear your comments down below of what you guys have been through, both here and in your home countries, that it seems to be worldwide, and it seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. I have friends that are living in Florida now, and that it's just, they're not living where they used to live, put it that way. They were flooded out in their home. And with that being said, that it seems like no matter where you go nowadays, that there's going to be something that happens, something bad. So the typhoons that I were in here in the Cavite area, which is really close to Manila, weren't too bad. They flooded out almost to the front entrance of my apartment, but didn't come in. And they weren't too big of a deal. Now, getting back to the earthquake that just happened, with that being said, the expats here, our Christmas tree, our phone tree, really, at least in my circle with Steve and Justin Cranky Von Cranky, It's we were talking to each other right away. Everybody was fine, and Justin had some really good points prior to this earthquake, and that is the area that we're living. Everything is 1-2 stories. I don't really know anything besides maybe the mall. The mall is 3 stories, maybe, 3 or 4, with the parking. So, but our residents are really close to the ground, really, pretty well built concrete slab. So it'll take a lot to shake these down. And overall, our earthquakes seem to be based, I think Steve and I were talking about this, seem to be based from volcano activity. What worries me about the earthquakes is that I really want to be near the beach. And with that said, we all know about the Thailand tsunamis. And one of my other good friends, he was actually in the Thailand tsunami, and he's never, I don't want to say he's never been the same about it, but it really, really affected him horribly. And I understand why. Of course, it was horrible. So with that in mind, we really stick together here, at least our group does. And I hope that when you get here, that you find a group of people that can check up on you, follow up on you. And the main reason I'm making this is because the earthquake, I guess it kind of took me off guard. That, again, coming from California, coming from the Midwest, I didn't think about having these natural disasters, and I should, because we're literally islands here, and that's just invites issues and invites things to happen. So with that in mind, everybody was okay, everybody was fine at the earthquake, and hope that you stay safe too. And again, tell me your thoughts down below of earthquakes and things that you've been through, and what's your thinking? Because when I was actually planning to come here, I did a little research on it. I didn't really see anything that stood out, and like when I looked at Mexico, there was a whole set of issues in Mexico. I'm not going to get into them, but Mexico had its own issues. South America had its own issues. Everywhere has some issues that you're going to have to deal with. It's just funny. I didn't expect a 6.3 earthquake to be one of them. Silly me. With that in mind, stay safe out there. We really appreciate you hitting the subscription button there. And we will see you next time.